Other than that,
yeah.
I don't let them get too close.
No, that's the thing. Bugs, if they come near me, I'm going to have to crush them.
Mammals would not exist without spiders. That's a fact.
Yep. It even took me a while to get used to Spider-Man, just the idea of it. Like, being bit by a spider, I was turned off by that. All
right.
Oh, and that's Bug Talk. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Between the Streams. This is our weekly show where we talk about streaming television and movies and pretty much everything entertainment. I'm Greg Nibbler.
I'm Ryan Juanita.
And we have so many things to get to today.
It's a crazy day.
Like, I'm excited.
It's usually a lot of stuff, but today it's just nuts.
And usually I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I want to complain about, like certain TV shows that I'm going to be mad about. But these ones, actually pretty much everything today, I'm really excited about. Awesome. And especially Bloodline, Ryan. I want to tell you all about Bloodline.
You are very hot on Bloodline.
I'm very hot on Bloodline. Hot on it.
Hot to try.
I'm hot for it.
As you say.
All right, let's.
Don't say that.
No, we don't use that. We'll cut that out. If you are watching live on YouTube too, we want to hear your comments. We want to see what you guys want to talk about. We're going to be discussing everything from The Preacher to Thor to Bloodline, and then what we have for Between the Cracks, and also X-Men, all kinds of stuff. And
it's a big day.
Yeah, it's a big day, and so go ahead and hop in there and just let us know what you want to talk about. We'll follow along, and we'll go from there. So let's see. First off, I think we should talk about what we were referencing last week, where once again we were correct.
That's correct.
I believe that's another prediction that's for us.
Well, I'd say that's a pretty easy one, but we'll take the wins where we can get them.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to take that as I count that.
Yeah.
So it has to do with Bond.
So there's an update. Tom Hiddleston is now reportedly in official talks to become the next James Bond. Now, this is rumors from actually Birth Movies Death uncovered this one that said sources say he is in advanced talks. And as we all know, Tom Hiddleston very much wants the job as the new Bond. He's not made any, there's no bones about it. He's in. He wants it.
Who wouldn't want it?
Well, yeah.
Because forever, it doesn't matter what you do with the rest of your career.
I was James Bond.
Yeah, you were James Bond.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
I was James Bond.
Yeah, he can always do that the rest of his life.
It's like a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, exactly. I'm watching the live stream right now. I don't know what's going on with my hair, so we'll just go ahead and leave that as it happens throughout the show. Yeah, it's doing its own thing. So
doing like a Rick and Morty thing over there.
Is that what's going on? I don't know. Maybe we'll change it up throughout the show. So the rumor is that he is, in talks. It's going to be happening.
Yeah.
And looks pretty legit.
And this article, the writer, whose name is escaping me, apologies, but he had some pretty interesting things to share, including the fact that Hiddleston would be the first Bond actor who shares an educational background, as he calls it, with not only Ian Fleming, but 007. They all three, one fictionally, of course, went to Eton College.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that going to influence?
Is that a British thing?
I don't know. That sounds like a British thing that they would be excited about.
It's kind of exciting.
They went to university together.
And so my thing is, if Hiddleston does get the job, we know he's going to take it.
Yeah.
If he is offered the job, what will this new Bond look like?
Tom Hiddleston?
I mean, they're hilarious.
Kind of easy softball one. It's kind of lazy on my part.
Craig and Sam Mendes sort of took Bond to this new place, sort of a Christopher Nolan take. It was more brutal,
a little dark,
a little bit more realistic.
Actually, there were some really dark scenes, in the newer ones.
The question is, will Hiddleston bring it back to sort of the Pierce Brosnan suave Bond, like smooth and doesn't get dirty even when he rolls through a minefield?
Put a little more comedy back into it.
Yeah,
or something.
a lot of cufflink action, or will he even take it to a new place? I mean, will he sort of bridge the gap, maybe bring some Craig in, bring some Brosnan in, or who knows?
Okay.
So that's the interesting thing is like, if Hiddleston gets it, what will this Bond look like? And I'm kind of excited.
Yeah.
It's always exciting to see a new take on the franchise.
Right, and which happens,
Especially
it seems
a
like
franchise like this.
every several years, they switch it up.
And there's just nothing quite like the Bond franchise. Yeah. It's just never going to go away. Even Marvel, I don't think will have the staying power that Bond has.
No, Bond's, it's a proven commodity.
It's a quintessential
It's a spy movie, and there's action, and there's usually a hot chick, and then there's some kind of villain guy.
Absolutely.
That recipe you can repeat forever.
Yeah, and we should say that there are some other people mentioned as well, including, of course, Idris Elba. And then now there's Jamie Bell, who was in Fantastic Four. I don't know him very well. You may know his face if you see him. But
Jamie Bell, all right.
And then there was also the fan rumors about Gillian Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought that was kind of cool.
Cool.
I don't think that James Bond should be a woman, personally, and I don't think that's misogynistic. I just think James Bond is a dude. But she could be a new character. Like I think she could have her own film franchise because I think Gillian Anderson is awesome.
Yes, Gillian.
If you've seen The Fall, of course the X-Files, but if you've seen The Fall, she plays this no nonsense sort of cold-hearted detective, and she's just brilliant in it. So.
Okay. All
I
right.
can see that. Anyway, there's a lot of rumors.
A lot of
flying
rumors,
around.
but that's the big one is
That's the
that
deal.
Loki is going to be Bond. All right, moving on
Yeah.
maybe to our next one.
Loki Bond.
This news, not surprising, but it has to do with HBO, and
Yes.
it's that True Detective, which everybody loves season 1. Season 1, I think we can all agree, if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's fantastic. Season
Sort of
2,
a masterpiece.
season 2 did not get the same reviews.
I just stopped watching because honestly, and I know it's sort of my job to watch stuff, but there's so
That
much
says something. It's your job and
There's
you
so
still
much
stopped,
great
'cause-
TV out there that if something is even middling, if something
Yeah.
is even like okay, it's not worth my time.
I mean-
There's only so much time in the day.
And that's true. I mean, the second one, Colin Farrell was fantastic in it. I thought he was.
you like him?
Yeah, I liked him.
Okay.
I thought he was great.
What about Vince Vaughn?
I like Vince Vaughn, but
Yeah.
this role just didn't. I don't know whether it was the writing or
Right.
what. By the end of that season, it actually did start to all make sense, and it was actually kind
Yeah?
of good. If they just done 2 episodes at the end, it would have been, I think, all right. Because by then you're like, okay, yeah, Vince Vaughn is a bad guy. He's not going to go crash a wedding.
Well, I think this is also just a product of this restart miniseries formula. And now
Yeah.
it seems to have worked with Fargo, but Fargo sort of has this magic, through the writing. And I don't know what it was, but this one just didn't seem to gel for people for whatever reason.
American Horror Story also kind of, but yeah, this.
Yeah, American
isn't-
Horror Story
so-
works pretty well. Yeah, exactly.
I guess to get to, I didn't realize I didn't say this. Yeah, it's not coming back. So
yeah.
it's
Sorry.
it is unlikely to come back.
There's
going
not
to
going to be a season 3.
Which what are you going to do? I mean, I guess I'm not that disappointed.
I mean, there's a sort of a backstory behind this that's a little bit more interesting. Oh, for one thing, Nick Pizzolatto, who is the writer producer, he's signed on with HBO through 2018. So
so he's going to be
while
making
True
something.
Detective isn't coming back, something will be coming.
Okay.
Along the lines from him. But the other sort of backstory here is that Michael Lombardo, who most people probably don't know who that is, but I've heard his name bandied about forever, and he
Bandied about.
But he is 30 years deep in as president of programming for HBO.
Wow.
And now he has passed the torch to the new guy, Casey Bloys.
So what does that mean for programming?
It just means that we've got a new dude at the helm, and you just never quite know. I mean, like for instance, Bob Iger with HBO, of course he's with Disney, of course he's the CEO of the company. But his reign in Disney has brought in some amazing things, and it's important to understand that a company is a company, but who runs that company decides a lot.
Okay.
Under Iger, they bought Marvel, they bought Lucasfilm, they made so many important acquisitions. They bought Pixar. So I mean,
you
of
think
course, this is
HBO
just
could
a
be primed
programming-
for something like that?
No, but I guess I'm just trying to say that it matters who's in charge, and it can dictate a lot of how the entertainment that you get is put out, what comes to you. I mean, this is a big task.
Yeah.
This is a huge task.
To be the head of HBO's
He is the
programming.
head of
That's
everything. HBO Films, HBO Sports, everyone is now reporting to this dude. So it's
a big deal.
the dude's stressing. He's got to be stressing a little bit.
All right. Well, that's interesting because I never think about it that way. That this could actually influence what we get.
Yeah, I mean,
and looking at it from a consumer standpoint, from somebody who just watches television.
And we've talked about this. HBO is going to be at some sort of a crossroads. I mean, they're a humongous network, and they're now a streaming platform. Pushing towards the level of Netflix in some ways. But they are sort of at a crossroads because sooner or later Game of Thrones is going to be done.
Right.
2 more seasons.
Yeah.
And they're even probably going to be shortened seasons. And then where does HBO go from there?
What's
what's
their
their
next
next
big thing?
big thing? And this dude's in charge of making that happen.
All right. Okay.
So-
that's a big job.
We'll kind of see how that works.
Yeah.
But one thing we do know is True Detective Season 3 is
It's out.
unlikely to make it to
Well-
your television set.
That's all right.
Yeah, and nobody's crying.
Nobody's really upset about that. Yeah. All right. Let's go on to some movies.
Okay.
Some reviews that have come out. Some superhero movies. X-Men
Kind of
Apocalypse.
I'm kind of depressed.
So I know you're a big fan of the X-Men franchise. Is that?
I am, and
Yeah.
full disclosure, I actually even liked X-Men Last Stand, which
Oh.
is sort of known as like a terrible movie. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like changing the world, but
Yeah.
when you see freaking Magneto lift the Golden Gate Bridge, I mean, I don't know. I find that entertaining.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm sure
I
it
thought
did
was
have
pretty
its
great.
moments. Yeah.
I didn't think it was as good as the other two, but hell, it was worth my money.
Well, these new ones, the first of the new ones, which was X-Men Days of Future Past.
No, the first one
No.
was X-Men First Class.
X-Men First Class. Liked
Yeah.
that one. Days of Future Past.
too much confusing.
Too much
time
going
stuff.
on. Too much time travel.
Time travel's a bitch.
I just don't care enough to pay attention to it. Maybe I should watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, and
I'm like, okay, that's enough.
Now they've got time travel in Game of Thrones, which, not to give too much away, but it's always sketchy when you bring in time travel.
Yeah, it is. It is. So this X-Men Apocalypse, which has come out, the reviews are coming in. Not the greatest reviews.
I would say they're tepid. I don't think they're certainly not the apocalypse that was, to borrow the phrase from the movie, that was Batman versus Superman.
Drink, name check.
Yeah.
All right, so
Batman versus Superman was just an utter failure in all regards. I feel like this is still going to be a fun movie to watch. I mean, one of the things I want to watch just straight up is Quicksilver's big scene. Because if anybody who's seen Days of Future Past knows that Quicksilver's scene was pretty much the pinnacle of that movie. It was amazing watching him sort of in the cinematography.
Oh,
it
right,
was like
because everything was in slow motion.
Yeah,
I do remember that scene. That was a great scene.
And the cinematography alone was worth it. And this scene is supposed to sort of build off that, be even bigger, more grandiose.
Okay.
To me, that's going to be worth seeing the movie anyway. Like, even if it's sort of, as people are saying, it's sort of cliche, it tries too much. They say that Oscar Isaac's villain is like really over the top.
A middling chapter of the venerable superhero franchise.
That's Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
A middling chapter.
Middling.
Okay.
But our guy, Rick Marshall, he liked it. He didn't love it, but he's like, what's the big deal? It's still a pretty entertaining movie.
I'm curious, for people that are watching live right now, if you can hop in there and let me know, are you excited about X-Men? Like, does X-Men Apocalypse? Because for me, I love superhero movies,
into it.
But I'm not that into the newer X-Men movies. It just doesn't do it for me. Like, the other Marvel ones, fantastic.
Right.
Love them.
What about Deadpool? Sort of a in-betweener. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That should be the next thing you do. We've got it.
Oh, really?
We've got it on Blu-ray. You're taking it home.
All right. That's
that's your homework.
Okay,
assignment,
that's cool.
Greg.
That'll be my homework.
Yeah.
I will watch Deadpool. But
yeah, I don't know. Oscar Isaac, Rick Marshall, our guy, says that Oscar Isaac did a great job of not making it too silly, and he also really liked Sophie Turner, also known as Sansa Stark.
Oh yes,
he said she did a really good job as Jean Grey. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so that's there's some of the reviews, I guess, on X-Men. I'm curious.
See.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
And
something that's a long time coming. It's going to be until next year, but I am definitely excited about is Thor Ragnarok.
This is going to be awesome.
So Thor 3.
I'm calling it right now that this is going to be the best Thor yet.
Yeah, better than I liked Dark World a lot myself.
It was okay.
Yeah, I think that's most people. I think it was kind of half and half, but
for me,
I
feel like Thor is sort of the weakest singular superhero movie in the current cinematic universe for Marvel.
Okay,
but
this new one, and now a lot of these with the new Marvel movies, I think they caught on that everybody likes to see the other characters in each other's movies.
Oh, of course.
Like Iron Man 3 was just him.
Yeah.
Spoiler, but but now
it's like 3 years old.
All these all these individual movies. Captain America: Civil War is basically an Avengers movie. It pretty much is an Avengers movie.
But Captain America Civil War was missing one crucial element to the Avengers movies, which Thor Ragnarok will have.
Yeah.
Mr. Hulk.
Mr. Hulk. Also Thor.
Nobody calls him Mr. Hulk.
Also Thor was
That's
not
true, but yeah, okay. Two elements, but the one that I really am stoked on is Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And the new news that we have is Mark Ruffalo this week coming out and saying...
Is it Ruffalo or Ruffalo?
Ruffalo, yeah, whatever.
Honestly, I was curious. Yeah, I have no idea.
One way or another, we're going to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But he calls it an intergalactic buddy road movie.
Yeah,
which is so great. Like, so he's like flying through dimensions with Thor or something.
Yeah.
And they're kicking ass as Hulk. And he says there's going to be a ton of Hulk. He says you'll see a lot more Hulk. He'll be hulkier and bigger. And
I'm sold. Yeah.
Also, Natalie Portman's out.
That's right. Yeah,
She
they're bringing in
Tessa Thompson, who anybody who saw Creed, she's a fantastic actress.
Great.
I think she's going to do a great job. It's rumored that she's going to have some superhero powers too, and she may be a love interest for Thor.
Okay.
So that could be interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And a little interesting side note to this, Ex Machina director is doing a new movie called Annihilation.
Alex Garland?
That's correct. Yeah. And Oscar Isaac's going to be in it. Tessa Thompson's going to be in it, and Natalie Portman's going to be in it.
Oh.
So
somehow there's there.
Yeah,
it's all
see that? Okay.
Something.
Whatever.
Okay.
That could be cool.
Well, it's not coming out, I think, November 2017 is when it comes out. So it's a ways out, but I'm still excited for it. I'm excited a year and a half away for this.
It's going to be great. Hulk, I'm there.
Yeah, you're in. Is Hulk your favorite?
I just love Ruffalo's take on it. I just think I think, that they've finally mastered it after 3 tries. The third
Yeah.
one was the charm.
Yeah.
And he's just so fun to watch.
That's your dude.
I mean, Puny God.
He is great.
Puny God with Loki. Is there any cooler scene in Avengers than him just
Smashing Loki.
smashing
Yeah.
Loki against the ground?
It is pretty
Yeah.
fantastic.
And we know the Hulk can be much bigger than we've seen him on screen. And apparently he's going
getting
to do this.
hulkier.
Yeah, in the movie. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a ways out, but still something exciting.
Yeah.
Let's get to the highlight of the week.
We got to move through it, man.
We got to
to
plow through some of this
Keep
stuff.
going.
And this is one that, even though it just came out, I believe last week it premiered. There's
Yeah.
only one episode that's out right now.
And you've seen it.
And I've seen it, and I was hearing from all kinds of people, just started writing me saying, The Preacher, dude, you're going to love The Preacher. The
Right.
Preacher, The Preacher. And I finally watched it, and everyone was correct.
It's
The Preacher
It's great.
is fantastic.
All
So
right.
if you don't know what it is, it premiered on AMC. They're going to try to pair it up with kind of The Walking Dead for like a back-to-back kind of a program.
A
that they've got
1-2
going.
badass
One,
brutal
two
punch.
Yeah. And The Preacher is, ironically, like, it's not really a comedy. It is based off of a series of comic books called The Preacher.
But it sort of has some dark humor.
There is some dark humor to
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's not completely. It's very dark, but there is some dark humor. That's correct. It's
Most
being
important thing, DC just doesn't know how to do that.
well, and they're doing it right now. I mean, I guess that's not really.
Is this a DC property?
Kind of, but not
Okay.
really. I don't think it ties into
Okay.
regular DC films because it was just it was a series called The Preacher,
Right.
and
So explain it. What it was this about?
yeah. So The Preacher itself is about, and this isn't spoiling anything. This is in the first episode, but you have to know this premise. So it's a
Right.
guy who has kind of a sordid past, but he is a preacher. His father was a preacher, and he goes back to his small Texas town where he grew up to take over the church. And it's a typical small town. This is where some of the comedy kind of comes in.
Right.
Small town characters that are in every small community. And he is, what's the word I'm looking for? Possessed. There we go.
Oh.
Possessed
Okay.
by
That's a good word.
an interstellar being that is the spawn of a demon and an angel. That's where it gets kind of weird. You got to go with it though.
right.
You got to go with it because that's when I first
So-
heard about that. I'm like, okay, that's too much. I don't want to know about this. Like, it's just not going to work. It works. It's really dark. The
Who's
main
the actor
character,
that's playing?
Dominic Cooper.
So
And
he has to start out as a different character and then take on this new sort
kind
of.
of.
role.
They're still getting into that, and I'll admit I haven't read the comics, so I'm just watching it
Right.
from this, and it is. He's changed, but I don't think he really knows how he's going to change yet.
Okay.
But he does have power. He now has power.
He's got some powers.
He's going to get some powers.
And we also know that Seth Rogen was like a big
Seth
part
Rogen
getting
helped
this off the
develop it.
ground,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And his partner, his producing partner, Evan Goldberg.
Yes,
So
they
this
both
is a big thing from them.
exactly, and
He's not in it though.
he's not in it. No.
So far, anyway.
No, he's not in it. Although he did do a really funny. If you've seen the trailer for it, he did a spoof of the trailer where he plays every character in the trailer. It's hilarious.
I
It's
love
really
Seth
good.
Rogen.
So, The Preacher though is one. I think it's going to be a huge hit for them.
They're not. They just keep hitting them, man.
It's
AMC
going to
knows what
sound.
they're doing.
They really do, and I mean, it's shot kind of like a Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
Like it look to it.
kind of got the colors.
It's got those colors
the
to
yellow
it.
colors because I've seen the trailers. It's got that sort of yellow tinge to everything. Sort
Yeah,
of desert.
The desert.
the
yeah,
desert stuff.
The desert stuff. So it's kind of like a From Dusk Till Dawn.
Ooh,
mixed
yeah,
with like,
I like that.
Yeah, Breaking Bad.
That's a great movie.
Like as far as those elements. Well, it does have vampires in it. Just a spoiler.
And I always love vampires.
And then
even though Twilight tried to ruin it, they couldn't do it for me.
Right,
still
you're still
like
on
them.
board.
Yes.
Team Edward, right there.
No, God, no.
So The Preacher, though, it is premiered. There's one episode out right now. I highly recommend it if you like any of those shows that I just mentioned. If you like From Dusk Till Dawn, if you like Breaking Bad. Obviously, I have not read the comics. Now I'm kind of interested in reading them.
Right.
Because it's a fascinating story, and it sounds like there's a lot going on, and there is, but they simplify it enough to where it makes sense so far.
You say vampires, demons, angels, Texas Western.
Texas Western kind of, yeah, all mixed into
It's
one.
a nice little mix.
You throw it all in, and then
It's
an
like one of those
ex-girlfriend.
tacos with the pizza inside it or
Right.
something.
And then the ex-girlfriend, I don't even know what she is yet, just some kind of a badass that blows stuff up. So
Okay.
they've got a little bit of everything, and these three, the vampire, the preacher, and the ex-girlfriend
That's
team
right.
up, and that's where it's going from there, and then they go on some kind of mission.
I remember this from when it came out because we wrote about it a long time ago. His buddy's an Irish vampire.
An Irish vampire,
okay.
which the character is actually really good so
That's
far.
awesome.
Sounds like a lot. Normally that would be too much for me to throw into one movie or
Show.
one
Yeah,
show,
whatever, yeah.
one series. It's working.
All
I
right.
recommend watching it. Highly
Highlight
recommend
of the
it.
week. There it is.
The Preacher.
All right.
Let's see. Where should we go to next here? We've got a few other things to get
Well, we can keep talking about poor reviews.
to. Yeah, I know. Do we want to keep going with poor reviews?
I think we should talk about Warcraft just because we talked about it last week.
Okay. All right. Let's bring that up. Warcraft.
A little bit. And basically what happened is, I remember it was a couple weeks ago maybe, but we said that, the hard thing about this movie was always going to be trying to bring in the hardcore fans and also bring in the sort of, the people that have no idea what it is.
That's this guy. I have no idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's most of us. And so from the reviews that we've seen so far, they did the former, they did not do the latter. They did not bring in new viewers. It was pretty much a fanboy movie. So that's why you're getting, a lot of people saying it's terrible, a lot of critics just panning it, and then a lot of gamers coming out of the woodwork just pissed about that.
Oh, that it's getting panned?
Yeah.
But if you're not playing it, why would...
thing as Batman versus Superman that all the people that really love those comics, the darker comics, they all enjoyed that movie. And that seems to be sort
great
of the
for
same
them.
thing with Warcraft.
Good for you enjoying what you like, but it doesn't mean everybody else is going to enjoy it.
Exactly.
I did see, so Dominic Cooper's in this too, also lead of The Preacher. So
Right.
all right.
It just didn't make it. Apparently, they just it was too deep into the gaming world apparently. So
okay.
So don't see that unless you're
a
level
hardcore
80 druid as our we did get a guy who was like a really angry commenter and our headline was something like, unless you're an 80 level druid, you're not going to like it. And he's like, first of all, what does that even mean? An 80 level druid, that isn't even the highest level. Okay. The highest level is 100. And, so, I mean...
I just want you to read those reviews now.
I like Duncan Jones. He's a good director. Again, Moon is a fantastic gem of a movie that you would never expect.
Yeah.
But I just, this does not appeal to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No Warcraft. Yeah, I'm not going to be seeing Warcraft.
Yeah.
I'll admit it right now. I am
So
not
there you have it.
an 80 level druid.
And then really quickly, over the weekend, I saw Keanu.
Yeah, which is Key and Peele's.
Yeah. And, I really was hoping it was going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was just good.
I kind of wondered, it's
wasn't
a movie
bad.
about a cat.
And there were some really fun moments, but I think at the end of the day, it boiled down to a really long Key and Peele sketch.
Okay.
That didn't quite...
That never ended?
When you stretch the silly putty, sometimes it breaks in the middle. I mean, it didn't quite break in the middle, but it got really stringy. It was hard to make this joke last through an entire hour and a half.
It's like a Family Guy joke where you just keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
And then...
Look, they are two of the funniest people in comedy today, and that doesn't change. But this one might be one for renting.
Might have been a stretch.
Yeah. I don't know. It's still funny. Don't get
right.
me wrong. It's got its funny moments. It's sort of a one-line joke about how Key and Peele are not very gangsta, and they're going to pretend to be gangsta. That's
gotcha.
basically
okay.
the whole movie. So
okay.
Did enjoy it. Did not love it.
All right. Fair enough.
So there's that.
Okay. From Keanu to let's. Well, did you want to mention this about Apple?
I did want to mention this because I feel like Netflix is so important to so many of us on a level that few products are.
Right.
And that's why it's sort of interesting that Apple, which I feel like used to be like that and is less like that as we go on.
Yeah.
The iPhone just doesn't have the magical appeal that it had.
Because Androids are getting better and better. I mean,
and because there's only so much you can do with a smartphone, I feel like. There hasn't been a lot of innovation. Anyway, point being, Apple is supposedly looking to buy Netflix.
That's crazy.
Looking to pick it up.
Which they do have the capital. So what's Netflix valued at right now? It's
Netflix is valued, and a lot of people think it's overvalued because this is eons above what they bring in revenue. But it's valued at $43 billion.
Jesus.
You think that's weird? Snapchat's valued at $18 billion.
Yeah, that I don't.
I mean, at least Netflix, okay. Snapchatters, I apologize.
Snapchat is World of Warcraft to me.
Snapchat has 600 million.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
I'm
sure I'm poorer for not using it more.
But Netflix has been growing leaps and bounds, but they've been having a stock problem lately. Their stock's been going down, and Netflix, it kind of is up and down as far as its popularity. But
why would they sell?
Everyone loves it.
$43 billion. I guess that's 43 billion reasons to sell.
I don't know if they would sell, but I guess the big question is what will happen to one of our favorite entertainment platforms if it became an Apple property.
Hands on it.
Yes.
It's icy cold hands.
Apple has more and more become this massive conglomerate. It's certainly not Comcast, but it's big and it's powerful and it keeps most of its money overseas.
It's kind of like Mr. Burns. The Mr. Burns of companies.
I don't know. I mean, I still like Apple. They do a lot of good things.
Sure.
Let's not overstate it, but it could be really interesting. These rumors have been floating around for a year, but Fortune is reporting that Apple was first looking at possibly buying Time Warner.
Okay.
Which, as we know, owns HBO. And
right.
now those same sources say that it's looking very, very
hard at Netflix.
Deeply at looking at grabbing Netflix, yeah.
Well, I mean, if they do get a hold of it, yeah, you're right. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it and how it's going to change, whether it goes more expensive, less expensive.
The thing I love about Netflix is, again, this comes back to a theme we've had this week is leadership. Ted Sarandos, their lead programming guy, is just kind of brilliant at the way he has expanded their reach, moved into picking up films.
Mm-hmm.
All of their original products aren't the best, but I think a lot of them are really good choices. And also Reed Hastings has just been this nimble sort of futurist, seeing what's coming, figuring out how to adapt to what's coming, and making Netflix work with this crazy paradigm right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on the phone with a guy who is for this company called Envanto, and they do a lot of streaming stuff for like NBC and CNBC. And no one knows where entertainment is going in the next 2 years.
Yeah, how we're going to consume it.
And that's how it's been. Like, is cable going to go online? Is streaming going to mix with cable?
It has been a very up and down.
And Netflix has done a very good job of sort of, getting through these waters.
Real quick, just a complete side note for those of you watching on YouTube, it's being asked if we're ever going to drink that beer. That's true. We should drink these beers.
Should we talk about the beer? Anderson Valley Summer Solstice.
Anderson Valley Summer Solstice. It's delicious.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know, but I don't want Apple to buy my Netflix. I like Netflix how it is.
Hands off my Netflix.
Stay off my Netflix.
Okay.
Lego my Netflix.
You can start a shirt campaign or something for that.
Yeah.
All right.
So there you have it.
There we have it. So, let's go into some Netflix stuff, because one of the things that's fantastic about Netflix is that they always have new content coming out, and so many original series. One I wanted to talk about, which I know this was a discussion before we went on air. It's the big release that's coming out this weekend on Netflix.
And I've never seen it.
And it is Bloodline.
Yeah.
Bloodline.
Season 2.
It's season 2 that's coming out now. And
now, I don't know anything really about the show except for peripheral stuff, but wasn't there some big events last season that's going to change everything about how this next season is going to work?
Okay. Yes. Now, I'll say this. Again, I love Bloodline. I think it's great. And the way it works, it's a little confusing at first. It is one of those shows where it takes 2 or 3 episodes to understand their style.
And it's sort of a family drama with like some...
It's a very wealthy family in like the Everglades of Florida called the Raybirds.
Which nobody wants to live there.
Right, in the Everglades.
Of Florida.
I mean, they're on the beach. So maybe it's not all in the Everglades, but it's... So they're this very wealthy family.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of internal drama and things that go on with the family, and there's some sordid, dark past that's alluded to consistently through
that
the
they've
first
all been
season.
A part of or something. And it's the dude from Friday Night Lights.
Yes, it's Kyle Chandler is the main star, and then there's the actors. The acting is really good. Yeah,
strong cast.
Ben Mendelsohn, who plays Danny in the series.
Yeah, he's been getting all kinds of accolades.
He's amazing. I didn't know who he was beforehand. I wouldn't know him by that name, but Danny from Bloodline, really great. And so the second season that's coming out, I don't want to spoil anything. Definitely don't watch the second season. Like, don't start watching that yet, because it's not a standalone thing. You have to watch it.
It's not like Seinfeld where you can just jump in.
Yeah, and no, not at all. And you have to watch the first season in order, because they jump back and forth in time a lot.
Okay.
Like a lot of flashbacks to try to explain the story, but by the end you get it, and it does wrap into something, and also teases right into the second season. It's a different kind of series than anything else that I think Netflix has.
All right.
Yeah, it's. Wow. I would say, it's drama. It's, you get your little family drama thing, your rich small town family, but then also all this sordid. There's some really messed up things that happen that you can't do on a regular, like if you were on broadcast.
Not gonna make it. Yeah.
No,
all right.
It would not work. So very excited for that. Bloodline season 2.
You piqued my interest.
Okay, excellent. I say give it 2 to 3 episodes though. You really do have to invest.
There's just so much TV that you definitely have to pick and choose.
You do, and that's the thing. There's so much.
That's a pretty high recommendation, so I'll have to check it out.
I would, yeah.
And speaking of another pick and chooser, Between the Cracks this week.
Right, which is one I started, but then I kind of dropped.
And I kind of was the same way, but I still think it's worth checking out. And the news this week was that it just got renewed for 2 more seasons, and Netflix is actually getting season 3 on May 31st, end of the month. Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. Now,
Which is the weirdest name for a show. Like, I'm surprised it ever made it.
Yeah.
But to give a little background,
Peaky Blinders
was the name of either a group of people or an actual sort of mob group.
Okay.
They don't really know, because like the history's sorted and whoever wins writes the history books, right? So you never know. But what they think it is warring factions in 19th century England. And the Peaky Blinders were this
like
group,
gangs.
Yeah, this sort of street gang who sort of ran a lot of the crime, and they were known for sticking a razor blade into their newsy hat, which is like hilarious, right? But
put a razor blade in my newsy hat.
Yeah, see, don't mess with me. But the idea was like they'd always have a weapon.
Okay.
With them, no matter what.
So they can cut you.
Yeah, and they had like a certain like outfit that they wear with like golden buttons. The show, I think, is pretty damn good, especially the first couple seasons. Sam Neill is in it. He does a really good job. Cillian Murphy plays the main character, and he is fantastic in it. There's a lot of intrigue, and yeah, it's pretty fun.
And I think I need to give it another shot because I tried watching it casually.
Yeah.
Like while I was doing stuff.
You have to pay attention because there's a lot of like little subtleties happening with the two families, or I mean with the warring families, because there's a bunch of families.
And there's a lot of slang too, and like very thick British accents.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like Cockney weird. I don't even know what the right name for it would be, but yeah,
it takes a while to get into it. It's almost like translating.
What I'm saying? I'm like,
is that your
dude,
Cockney?
That was my Cockney. Good. It was terrible. Yeah. And we just lost Britain.
Everybody quit.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it really does take some. So you gotta pay attention.
My girlfriend always says that, like, I can't understand a word they're saying.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a proclivity for it because I've been watching that kind of stuff so long. I love BBC dramas and stuff. So
right.
Yeah.
So
anyway, that's our
Peaky Blinders.
Between the Cracks. Season 3 is coming out. Definitely check out at least a few episodes. Season 1, you can watch it on Netflix right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Real quick in the YouTube comments here that we're getting, Travis said Bloodline reminds me of Quentin Tarantino flashbacks. I can kind of see that. Yeah, that's actually a really good description.
That's a really cool way to put it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I should have taken that and not given.
If you say Tarantino, I'm in.
Yeah. So Travis, good on you. That was good.
Nice.
All right. I think we've gone through a lot of stuff here.
We're wrapping.
Was there one final thing you wanted to bring this up to?
I think we kind of have to talk about it. It's not really our bag.
No.
My girlfriend.
But it did kind of break the internet.
This. Yeah. So Beauty and the Beast. So Disney has been doing this thing with live action portrayals of their most famous cartoon properties. They did Cinderella. They've done Snow White.
Are they gonna do Little Mermaid?
I'm sure.
Yes. Okay.
Eventually.
I don't know why I asked
they'll get there, right?
But, yeah.
They're just gonna make Splash again and call it the Little Mermaid.
All right.
Do you know what Splash is?
Oh yeah. No, I know what Splash is. Oh yeah.
Tom Hanks. Look it up, everybody.
Oh yeah. No.
But anyway, the live action teaser came out. This is crazy. I mean, they basically showed a rose and somebody's eyes and Emma Watson's voice, and it got up to 12
so Emma Watson
million.
is the main. Okay,
she's Belle, but it got 12 million clicks already on YouTube, and it's only been out for like 4 days.
Yeah, it broke the record of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Right?
Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it broke its record.
It is killing it, and it's a freaking teaser. People are excited about this. They also have
I just didn't know there were that many Beauty and the Beast fans out there.
I don't know. It's a big part of a lot of people's childhood, and you can't underestimate nostalgia, Greg.
Yeah.
Do not underestimate nostalgia.
Fine.
Ewan McGregor is going to be in it. Josh Gad, who he really hasn't done anything since Book of Mormon, but he's really funny.
Yeah,
I feel like
see his name everywhere.
He was in Angry Birds, and Angry Birds was the #1 movie in America last weekend. But it also got pretty bad.
That's so sad.
But what the hell? It's a win for him, right? And Jason Sudeikis, I love Jason Sudeikis. So
yeah.
More power to him. But yeah, it's got a good cast. But I was surprised that a tiny teaser is like the biggest thing in the universe.
So
then again, I was also surprised that the Ghostbusters trailer was the most hated trailer.
Oh, people
ever.
are crazy about Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And I don't know why everybody's getting so pissed off about that. I just don't get it.
I think it looks kind of funny.
Yeah, it does. It looks funny. It's funny people.
Who cares? It's like Ghostbusters is not. I don't see it as like one of the most important.
Some canonized franchise.
Yeah, I don't know.
You touch our Ghostbusters. Like it's Ghostbusters.
It's not freaking Kierkegaard.
And they cast 4 really funny people who happen to be women in it. It's like big deal.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be great.
Anyway. That's our Ghostbusters take. All right, well, Beauty and the Beast.
So watch the teaser.
Yeah.
It's coming out eventually.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, did you want to talk about how horrible Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to be, or does everybody already know that?
I think everybody knows that.
It's going to be
You
terrible.
see the trailer. There you go. That was the review.
Yeah, that's all you need.
All right, well, send us an email, podcast@digitaltrends.com. And this, if you're watching via YouTube, we also have the podcast, which is on iTunes and Stitcher and everywhere that you can get podcasts. So download that, tell your friends about it. And we're live every Friday at 2 p.m. right here from the DT studios in Portland. And let us know your comments, send us an email, and we will catch you next week with another episode.
Thanks, everybody.
Still didn't finish the beer. I need to finish
Drink
the
it
beer.
down.